Now, returning you to the Children of Primus.
Welcome. Sunday evening, TelaTraan 1. And how are you guys doing this evening?
Too awful bad. Been a good weekend, good 4th of July weekend.
Nice.
I have had the best day I've had in a while.
Ooh,
Nice. What happened?
Ended up making a sale today that's pretty much going to carry me through July, so that's always a plus.
nice.
Today, Jerry Bruckheimer announced Days of Thunder 2 is not only greenlit, it is already in pre-production.
Ooh, okay.
I'm excited for that one. And then the third thing is you guys. I think we were in the after show when I found out that somebody had bought my home track of Mansfield Speedway, and the guy that bought it is making a video series on his channel, highlighting the things that he's repairing and whatnot. And it looks like he's actually gonna do things right. The track is re-graded down now, and there's nothing growing on it. Infield's still a mess, but he's concentrating on the grandstands and the suites right now to get some people in there for a show. So yeah, that's a huge plus. I told all my friends and family still there in Ohio that 2018 was my farewell tour, but I might have to go back to make some laps around Mansfield Speedway.
Okay.
Nice.
Just a good day all around, man. I'm telling you what.
Yeah, we had a track here called Windy Hollow Raceway, and Friday nights were open to the public. You could go in and race your buddies, race against other people. Anything you want to. It was an 8th-mile track. And they just drag strip. And my 78 Firebird was king of the track there for a while, for a good long while.
Was it dirt or asphalt?
Asphalt.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's really weird that they would let competitors on track, because up until about 2015 or so, there were only 3 insurance companies in the entire world that would insure circle tracks.
There was no insurance. We had to sign away all rights. If you were injured or your vehicle was damaged.
Oh yeah.
It was your
it's
own
on you. But still, they have to carry insurance to be open to the public.
Cool. And
we used to have a ball there.
Sedum, what say you? What are you having for dinner this evening?
He's on nom.
My left.
Spicy miso ramen.
Yeah, that. Holy shit! I'm eating the last little bit of it left over from yesterday, because I got a big bowl of it plus takoyaki, and he said it was only 6. Like they gave me like 9 or 12 maybe. So I was like, oh nice. Damn! I wasn't expecting to have to eat this much. And of course, since it's the last bit of it, it's where the most spicy of the spice is. So I was like, I'm gonna just put in the name of what I'm eating. So if I can't talk, it's because of what my name is.
There you go.
I'm like, oh god.
As we catch up on the comments.
The lights on my mouse have finally started coming back on. That's what I jerked away from.
Nice. Well, were they not working before?
No. They've been gone for like 2 weeks. I don't know what's finally making the connection again.
Mario, welcome once again. Mario says hello again, people from the Children of Primus. And James Coleman says hello, guys. Welcome, James. And
Mario, James.
Before we get to Mario, actually it kind of ties in, because Mario says that, and I don't really go to conventions because of them being too expensive. And then I could see that. And James, hopefully we see you again at TFCON, which is next weekend. Impactor's not with us tonight, so I decided to flip it and turn it into like a TFCON Toronto pre-show, but then also tie in with like previous show questions and everything. And because I mean, the stream we had last week, 10 to 11 things to keep an eye out for when going to a toy convention is not TFCon specific. This could be any toy convention or any convention in general. But Mario, I guess where you live, what conventions are you finding too expensive? And
Yeah, what conventions are you missing out on?
James Coleman says likewise. Now, the one thing I will say in the beginning, for everyone, please like the video and subscribe, and and let others know about us.
Yes,
Yeah,
guys, especially the like button, because it's like right there. And mind you, this is not to inflate our egos. This helps the videos get higher in the algorithm, YouTube's algorithm.
The color of
Okay?
pain.
And that gets us more views. So yeah, it's a huge help, guys.
share it to a friend, and hopefully those friends share it to their friends. And the thing with TFCon and with anything else, you never know who's friends of friends and connected. So at the same time, you know, there's always a wellness check that has to be done for everyone to make sure that everyone's in a good space, physically, mentally, spiritually, everything. Because actually a store that we get some of our groceries from, one of the guys who works there, we found out that he isn't coming to TFCon for personal reasons. And we kind of picked up on that last week because, you go in a store and you get used to someone and they just have that friendly demeanor to them. But that one time it's just like, it felt like something was wrong. So passed by the store today and we're like, are you feeling okay? And he said, there's things happening in his life, but he's not coming to TFCon, which is understandable. Just because of the connections of people that's there. But, in a sense, everyone should always, look out for everyone and make sure that everyone's doing well.
Selim looks like he's doing just fine because he's nomming all the way to the bank.
Num.
I am growing hair on my chest. It is red.
My grandpa
With
told me
fire.
that all the time.
Damn.
Other
Like I hadn't
other
had spicy
conventions
miso
that-
ramen since I moved up here to Ohio from Virginia in August of 2019. Because the closest place that had like decent decent ramen was like Wright State University, and I'm in Dayton, so it's like it's not super out of the way, but it's just out of way enough to not be convenient.
So the other conventions that are in my area that are pretty big are Lego conventions.
Ooh, okay.
And I just sent you a link. There's another friend of mine that is on Transformers Liberated. He's actually the guy that I got my Unicron, my HasLab Unicron from. It's how we met. And he is real big in it, and this is his Peabody Cole Lego dragline.
Oh.
And he goes to all these big conventions and puts it on display. That's made out of Legos, and I forget how many thousands
Holy
of pieces it
crap,
is.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
wow.
Like if you're having any trouble scaling that, just scale that to the guy sitting behind it.
Exactly.
Right.
That
Wow.
looks like
The
a
boom-
6-foot table.
The boom is like 5'10"
Yep. Wow.
if you stand it up. Because I've seen pictures of him holding it like this, and it almost comes up to his nose. And he's
Oh,
a
I
big
can-
guy. He's like 6 foot tall.
Oh,
Hear my friends now. Haha, the boom on a Lego is taller than you are.
That's right.
I can hear it now.
And I was trying to find. He's got a smaller one that he puts. Oh, there it is. And it's really cool. He actually designed this one and put it together too. Oops, gotta open it like that. And copy image.
and what I would say, not just the impressive the size of that whole Lego structure, especially along the boom part, the keeping it stabilized that it doesn't just shatter.
Right. And this is the one that he actually built from scratch, designed it, and built it, and it's all remote controlled. And this is his whole setup where it actually drag lines the pieces out.
Oh,
That's him there in the red shirt.
okay, that's very cool.
Huh. And I just noticed this picture. The guy in the blue shirt I went to high school with.
No, the guy in the blue shirt, if you owe Mr. Magnus any money, he knows where you are.
And now know where you live.
Yes.
Where you hang anyway.
Going to what Toy Warp asked Mario, he says, San Diego Comic-Con and New York Comic-Con are the biggest ones I can attend to.
Well, yeah, especially if you're nowhere near them.
Right. I mean, that's two opposite sides of the continent.
Yeah, two opposite sides of the country. I mean, we all would love to go to both of them. Yeah, sure. But yeah, that is definitely a holdback. It's not so much the convention that would be that much money at that point in time. To be, the traveling and lodging would be your expensive. No, we're talking about conventions that are more local to you there, Mario.
Yeah. Both of those, though, since they brought them up, San Diego Comic-Con and New York, I would love to attend each one of them once. Just to say I've been there, like I did with Gen Con. Gen Con is not our thing. We went to it. It's too big. Yeah, the cosplay show was awesome. The vendors hall was phenomenal. But the con is so big that you have to pre-buy a spot into any panel, any game, anything that's going on. You have to pre-buy tickets. And if you don't pre-buy tickets, you ain't getting in. They do have what they call random tickets, and you just buy random tickets. And if somebody doesn't show up for the one that they pre-bought, there's two lines. There's the line for the people that pre-bought, and then there's the line of people that can buy a seat if somebody didn't show up on time.
What's the focus of Gen? What'd you say? Gen Con?
Gen Con is the biggest board gaming convention in the United States. It's huge. It's held in Indianapolis, Indiana, and it's monstrous. But it was so cool. We went down there, and it's a 4-day thing. We went down there Wednesday and went for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But we could not go to anything. We because the conventions we're used to going to, you pay your entry fee and then you just go, and if it costs anything, you pay it at the door and you go in. These things were sold out a month before the con started. And so we literally could not go into anything unless it was something that was open forum. There was a game that was being tested or a game that was being played. So we just walked around. We couldn't get into the cosplay event. We had to stand in the hallway and just watch them all walk in, which was cool. We got to see them all. I got some pictures of me with a guy in a spot-on Sauron dark armor costume with the big mace. I mean, it was badass, dude. I thought I was on the set. And of course, they have a 30-foot urban mech, which is from BattleTech. Everything that's one of those inflatables that's outside of the convention. It's one of the signs that you're at the convention. But yeah, it's not for us because it's something that you have to pre-plan months in advance. And even then, Dell was even saying, "Man, it sold out so fast this year. We only got into like 3 events." And I was like, "What do you mean you only got into 3 events?" And he was like, "Oh, y'all didn't pre-order any events? Did we not tell you that?" I was like, "No, you didn't tell me shit." Like, oh yeah, man, you gotta pre-buy anything you want to do at this thing, or you're not going to do it. Oh, so you just used me to help pay for the hotel.
Well, it's funny when you mention in terms of the size of a convention, because I mean, as large as TFCon sounds, it's I guess it would still be more localized compared to Fan Expo, whereas that one's in downtown Toronto, and that one is I would say it's like 100 times bigger than the TFCon. From the vendor side of point of view, I remember like speaking with one vendor, he was saying it's cool to be able to be a vendor in such a large event, but it's a lot of extra work because if you have a table at an event that large, you definitely need to have at least 5 or 6 people on your team because you need a handful of people always watching your table from different angles because it's just easy for someone to just come along and snatch something, and with thousands of people going through, you wouldn't even notice, whereas like a smaller event, like two people at a table, you can keep an eye on everyone. But at that one, it's just huge. It's a lot bigger than a local convention.
Yeah, I know the
I just
people
looked it up so that
who
you
I
can
get
have
gotcha
numbers
from.
to compare to.
Oh, actually, hold
I just looked up numbers so you've got something to compare to.
on.
Gen Con 2024
Okay.
sold out.
Okay.
It's the first time in history that it's ever sold out. 71,000 tickets.
That would probably be the equivalent of our fan expo in downtown. And I mean, it's probably the same or more. Whereas TFCon, I don't think hits that range. I mean, I could be wrong, but I would say like maybe half or a third of that number.
Wow. I guess we got the fan expo here, but I think it's the second one of the year, and it's so big they call it MegaCon because it's like their biggest one.
Mm-hmm.
And we have 500,000 people rolling through Orlando.
Yeah,
that was a number I got off of staff members this year when I went, was 500,000 people.
well, you know what?
Here
Google
you go, Spin.
sometimes.
Here's a picture of the line to one of the events.
Okay, let me just. Well, actually, I don't see the image yet. While you're getting that, let me catch up on the comments.
Oh,
Creepy.
it's there for me to click.
Okay.
It's in your private chat.
Cool. Creepy 1825 King. Welcome, Creepy. Like and subscribe. Says my sister and niece are going to the San Diego Comic Con. Mario says, oh, and I'm wondering if you're all with TFCon, you guys do another live stream where you cover the news after the SC San Diego Comic Con. Well, we're not a part of it. We're one of the vendors in it, but we're going to be streaming on this Saturday and Sunday in the Toronto Comic Con. And he says, Mario also says, I live in Houston and have convention centers over there.
Yeah, I think there's a fan expo in Houston. Pretty sure there is.
And looking up for the Toronto's fan expo, they were saying last year was 135,000. Mr. Magnus, I still don't see the image yet. It's lost in the internet.
Paste it again and send it.
What are you fiddling with there, Seta?
The Studio Series Overload that I got for 50% off. So instead of usual leader price, I got them for a little bit more than a deluxe. So like $28 or $27.99, something like that.
Okay, I'm glad Spin brought up the big picture there, because like from the little picture and my eyes needing glasses, apparently it looked like you were holding up like a 20s old timey car.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting design for that vehicle.
Talking about this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think this is just an extra bit that goes on the Park of the NECA Devastator that Mixmaster makes with his drums, but this part just comes with this guide. So, but I also got it because one, I like the color red, and then if you watch like the original Gundam series, and then Gundam Origins from maybe 2019, 2020, like the original Xeon, Principality of Xeon suits were originally made from half construction vehicle / mecha. And so you would have like these, like maybe like imagine if you had like a bulldozer, but then you have like a robot body where the cab would be instead.
Okay.
So you have like I guess vehicle little centaurs. So that's the other reason I got this, and then it reminds me of those. And then you also have, so that would be a mobile worker suit. Then you have traditional mobile suits, which is just your classic humanoid robot. Then you have mobile armor, which is like where it starts to get. It's not a vehicle, but it's like some hellish whatever. It doesn't necessarily need to have legs, or it has multiple arms. Crazy shit like this. That which this guy has the 4 arms. So that was the other reason I got him, was him reminding me of mobile worker suits and mobile armors from Gundam, and yeah, red.
I hear 4 arms, I just think of Goro.
Yep. And then you had that 4 arms from X-Men, and like his toy biz figure would be like doo, 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 with his 4 arms on both sides. Then you had Spiral, that chick that worked for Mojo,
Mm-hmm.
and I think she was a character in what was it, X-Men Children of the Atom fighting game by Capcom,
Yes.
which
Wow.
was technically the first of the quote-unquote versus games, because they had Akuma as a secret character you could unlock in that.
That was quite a character. I haven't played or seen that game in like forever. But it's almost like you couldn't beat that character. Like the screen just flashes and then he beats you. And, like you have no idea what happened. Mr. Magnus, or actually Mr. Magnus and Toy Warp, do you guys have any reveals for tonight?
Not this
I don't
week, but
have.
I should
Well,
next
I
week.
do have a Transformers reveal, but it is not a toy. It's a wedding thing.
Go
Ooh.
ahead.
Oh,
Hopefully, it looks better than those eggs at, what was it, Denny's or IHOPs or whatever.
Oh my God, those are awful.
yeah, that was whatever that was.
Those were. Ooh. But yeah,
Guess I
speaking
missed
of
that one.
Marvel versus games,
So we're getting married in September, so it's still hot here in the Midwest. So first, I'll just show you the stencil that I made.
yeah.
And
Oh, Bill, hold it back
can
up.
you see it?
There you go.
And we
Oh.
made fans for everybody.
Nice.
And when is this wedding again?
September 20th.
Okay, so yeah, they might still need those.
Yeah, because we're currently going through another heat wave right now.
Yeah, I was telling some
Speaking
people,
of
like,
heat waves, I'm sorry, Stedham.
I was telling my dad, since he used to go to college in the northern part of Michigan, close, like very close to the Canadian border, how hot it was getting for U-Spin, where I didn't you like a week or two ago said it got up to 100 tree for you, and he's like, yeah, I can believe that. Nowadays, because like I said, he would sometimes travel across the border like on weekends and stuff, college weekend trips when he didn't have exams on Monday.
Well, speaking of heat waves, I think everyone's on the internet has gotten hot and lost their collective minds because conspiracy theories are abound this week.
Oh god.
Especially
gosh.
with Michael Bay returning to
Oh
the
gosh.
Transformers franchise. There's been post after post after post, and none of them look, legit, about Michael Bay coming back and bringing back LaBeouf and whatever her name was, and just no, stop it, get help. It's
Wait,
weird because the same things happen in the Forza community. Microsoft just did a huge round of firing where they laid off over 9,000 workers.
Oh,
And Forza Motorsport Turn 10 is part of Microsoft. So they got half of their workforce laid off, and there's a big rumor going around too. Oh, the studio's going to shut down. They've already let go half the workforce. And, it's a live action game. You don't need that many people to handle a live service game. You don't need that many. They're not making anything new for it. They're just keeping the servers up and going. You know,
Yep.
it's not a big deal. Michael Bay is not coming back to Transformers, and Forza is not shutting down. Everyone, just stick your head in the freezer and chill out.
Chill out. And we don't need him to come back. He's
Nope. None of it. We don't need him to come back.
no, and it's like I remember reading somewhere where it's just like, if he comes back, will he do any better? And I'm like, no,
No.
he's gonna do exactly what he did before. So we don't want him back.
He's gonna retcon his own shit. Who retcons their own shit? Oh wait, Transformers did. Yeah, okay.
Shh.
13 primes. By the way, part 2 of the real history of Transformers is out now on the Toy Work Vintage Reviews. I highly suggest you go and watch it, especially if you don't like 13 bitches. I mean, 13 primes.
TelaTraan won.
Come on. Hey, I'm not the only one that is
I know.
broken the rules tonight.
I know.
We don't have the small sensitive ears we usually have, so
Yeah.
believe me, we're talking about Michael Bay. I'm going easy.
There you go.
Sensitive ears.
Well, sensitive ears. He isn't able to make it tonight, but he did send me a link to one of his videos.
Was it some
That
camp
I'll
or something he was going to?
show before we end our segment on this stream. And Mr. Magnus, you're about to say something.
We have new pre-orders at Big Bad Toy Store. So the rest of the Constructicons are there. So there's a pair of each of them in my box waiting. And I'm debating on the deluxe. Wait a minute, that's got to be what I already have. Was it deluxe? Okay, never mind. Yo, it's the one I already got. So I won't be buying that one. But yeah, so they've got him back up on pre-order. Wait, no, there is a SS86 Megatron. Yeah, there's a SS86 Transformers. But he does not turn into a gun, but he has all of his stuff.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens when you have a large collection of Transformers. You start to forget which ones you have, which is kind of a segue, because for TelaTraan 2, we have Big Angry Trev from the Transformatorium in Australia, who's going to be joining us in TelaTraan 2, the second largest Transformers collection in Australia. Which
Also me with Hot Wheels anymore.
And an all-around cool guy.
all around cool guy. And someone had commented on one of our shorts and said what's interesting is for someone to have that large of a collection, the website TFW 2005 doesn't really know of him or doesn't have reference of him, which I'm surprised because they tend to cover a lot of Transformer news as well. So anyone watching right now or after, mention Big Angry Trev on Transformers on TFW 2005, and also mention Children of Primus and Tour Vintage Reviews on TFW 2005, and it's everyone just has to share everyone's content. That's how we all grow.
And I don't know why, but last night I couldn't sleep and I got done doing my gaming with my friends and everything, and I walked around this room and I counted this room behind me.
Okay.
Just in this room, not counting my storage, just the room behind me and the big shelf in the center of the room. 1,286 separate bots. Just in this room alone. And that's not counting G.I. Joes, that's not counting GoBots.
See, that's wild because even with all this, I think I have 139. That was my last count, 139. Yeah, when you just do G1, man, it's not about the numbers. It's not about quantity, then it's about quality.
Right. It's
It's
quality.
about numbers,
Quality.
just a different type of number, i.e. price tag.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
So actually, so next. Oh no, what were you gonna say?
I was Sedum said something about the way his Hot Wheels were getting. Man, how
Yeah,
many
I'm
Hot
getting to
Wheels
where
you
I
got?
gotta like, if I don't keep on top of cataloging what I have already, like I'll buy like duplicates and be like, oh crap. I might have hid one today at the dollar store in the. Wait, I remember how this worked out the last time I said where I hid something, and then someone found it. So I'm not gonna say where my hiding spot was, but there's
Yeah,
a
no.
Hot Wheels. It was a Corvette, a '68 Corvette Gas Monkey Garage. And,
How many do you have now, Sedum?
I don't know. I might have one. I might not.
No. How many Hot Wheels in total do you have?
A couple hundred.
Couple.
I might have 200 now. The thing is, they're so small. That's why it's harder. Like, I probably have more Transformers, but Transformers are bigger. So they're easier to remember. And they're more spread out with what purchasing them. Whereas, like, those Hot Wheels, you can get them to stack up so quick.
There we go.
Oh, I'm sure you have more than me.
Hold on, I'm trying to get the camera to stay.
Because you're like a real life car guy, much less, Hot Wheels and stuff like that.
On the bottom there, those are all Hot Wheels Matchbox cases, including some of the original 60s ones.
Oh,
Yeah, I think there's 700-800 down there, and that's half of them. The other half are still on card.
nice.
Me, you also got to think last month was my birthday, so that all of last month I just had like a sudden spike of Hot Wheels and everything else I'm into, and I hadn't really had a chance to be like, okay, what did I all get last month, and just so because I know comics I need to get caught up on, and Hot Wheels just checking in like, okay, what do I got, what do I not have. Because sometimes with cars that have similar, like, makes and models, it can be kind of, I think I got that car, but maybe I don't. I got something like it, and you do that whole mental juggle.
Oh yeah, I do it buying the old ones. Do I have that one? No, but it's a really cool car, and then I bring it home and I've got 3 more. Yeah, it happens all the time. Heck, even the camera sits on Matchbox cases.
That's funny.
I only screwed myself out of getting one where I've only missed one recent one, I think. But so, in terms of missing, then I hadn't gone beyond like a handful of duplicates, but still, it was like, one okay. The first one, it's like, oh, I'll give it to my niece. I had that double of a purple passion, so I gave that to her because purple's her favorite color.
Yeah, you might as well, because purple passion ain't worth nothing. I was so excited, man. I went to the store. I rushed to the store to get first run of purple passion. I still got them on card.
Oh, like the originals?
I looked up the very first run of purple passion. It sells for like $8.
Wow.
I'm like, are you kidding me? Clear back from '92. Just collectors aren't interested in, stuff from like 90 and above. Hell, they're not really that interested in the 80s stuff. It's really, with Hot Wheels guys, with the hardcore guys, you're really talking just 60s and 70s stuff.
Yeah, I mainly will get cars even I remember having as a kid if I'm going to get something older, or if it's like a vehicle type you don't see a lot of, like trains. Like I know there's one train Hot Wheels that's like the first train Hot Wheels they did, and I got to track down one of those in a color, style I like. The other newer 2 I got.
Wait a minute. Who is this guy? Who is this? Well, how'd he get on our stream? I have no idea who this is.
You know what I want to point out the most around me? Natural light.
Yes.
Oh my God, it exists.
Yeah.
They didn't put you
I'm
back
sure
in a
the
cave?
cat babies would love that.
No cave. I'm now in a glass enclosure.
So I assume the move went
nice.
off.
So I guess the move went well.
Just that one out.
Well, we're still very much unpacking. I like how I wasn't sure what the view was going to be, so you can see the Samuses are set up. The Spider-Man guys are all flopped over. So I guess I got to fix those.
Well, welcome
The
back.
one over there.
Why don't you turn on that one?
Oh, look at that. Jess is behind me messing with lights. Ooh.
'Cause that's a warm light.
Oh, it's a warm light.
There you go.
I'm just trying to get the setup finagled.
Don't worry. I mean, I'm there's
She's
a small
We see you, Jeff. We see you.
How does that look?
Let's see.
I think I liked it with that light on more.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're a little tiny there.
Yeah, you look a little orange.
Oh yeah,
now.
I think
that works.
this is a good one. I'm not overlit. The light over there is on. The light over here is on.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
there's
stopped
Capricorn.
using this ring. I stopped using this ring I've got over the computer totally for this because of.
Yeah.
If my hair looks oily, it's because I put
You're
rose
fine. I want
water
you to see
oil
something.
in it, okay?
Set
Like,
up-
I
bring
wash
up-
my hair. It just has hair oil in it.
Set him. Bring up that moo cow thing you had.
Oh, the cow.
Yeah.
Aw. Look at that. Look at this, Jess. She walked away. Just hold it.
Little moo cow. It's on wheels.
It's a little cow on wheels. Turn it sideways again.
Yeah, I got it from Dots that I live near.
I figured you want to see the moo cow.
Thank you.
I'll keep my little orange octopus company.
Yeah. So I've moved locations. I still have hallways full of boxes. Unpacking is probably going to take forever. And I've been shotgunning trying to get my TFCON pile ready in about a week. So that's been fun.
Yeah.
Did you move further away or closer to the TFCon location?
I mean, probably closer, but we're talking a negligible amount. I'm a little further north than I was. I'm slightly closer to where Spin has moved to.
Cool. We're now around the corner from each other. When Mario says, "Hello, Fair Courage. It's been a while, and I see you've moved, Fair Courage. Like that's not easy."
Oh, it wasn't. You know, the weekend that I moved was that weekend where it was like 34 plus degrees out. That particular hell weekend. I went outside at 8:30 in the morning, felt the air like soup, and started seriously weighing the consequences of canceling all my moving plans that day and going back in.
Yep.
And it was never that hot again.
I will say, I have done moving in snow, and that presents a whole other set of problems, especially if you get stuck behind someone from freaking Texas. When you're trying to drive to where you're going, every time you're moving stuff back and forth, and you're just like, where does this person keep on fucking popping up?
Roll work, set them. 34 degrees for them is 93.2 degrees in freedom measurements.
I was about to say, I wonder what that is. You know, for bald eagles per cheeseburger. That's what
but
yeah. From across the room that when we moved into my old place 5 years ago, it was also one of the hottest days ever. So I guess it's a tradition.
And the thing too is, I mean, we have that humid type of heat. So even though it's like anywhere between 30 to like 35 or something, it feels like 44. So, and I think that's like 100 for you guys.
Yeah.
So, like,
Okay, I can attest the fact that you guys may know what heat is, but you have no idea what humidity is.
Yeah.
Humidity is
You have no idea what humidity
I
is.
agree with him. If you never lived in Hurricane Alley, yeah, you don't know what humidity is.
Right. Yeah,
Or Hurricane Alley in the U.S., Typhoon Alley in Asia, and so forth. I can't remember who's cyclone. Oh, is it hurricane, typhoon? Can't remember who uses the word cyclone. But, yeah.
GMC.
Yeah, our high today was 94 degrees with 82% humidity.
Oh,
See, that's not bad.
No, it's not horrible, but it was still sticky.
It's a little sticky, not very
just a little.
We've got rain coming for the next 4 days, so the two side jobs I've got on the waiting list are going to wait a little longer. It's hard to tear a roof off in the rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is true.
So now, fear that is here, as you and I will
The fear
be.
that is here.
The fear that is here, that you and I will be at a TFCon next weekend.
Yeah. Well, I'll be there for 50% of it, roughly.
Mhm. Um, so on our last stream, I know you weren't able to attend, but one of our friends who's a part of TFCon worked alongside me and said, let's create some questions. So, if you're watching the channel, go back to our previous video, and you can see like all of our questions and answers of con related things to get educated on. But our same friend, he mentioned that there was a kind of a quick update with the TFCon Toronto's for this upcoming weekend, and he said the custom class tickets are still available, which rarely happens and normally sells out a lot in advance.
Well, do we know what it is yet? I haven't heard anything.
No, he hasn't said what it is. So anyone watching, go to TFCon Toronto, tfcontoronto.ca, I believe, or Google TFCon Toronto 2025. That will bring you up to the website. As we had mentioned last week, there's like the custom classes. I've never had a chance to attend, but he did say that it's fun to attend. It's in depth, takes you through dismantling, sanding, coating, painting, and reassembling your figure. Everything needed is provided at the class, like the figures, paint tools. Great opportunity to get into customizing, meet new people. The class is about 50 people. Figures are usually announced before the show, although knowing which figure isn't really the point. It's more about the activity and the skills.
See, I would love to do that. They say the figure doesn't matter. It kind of matters to me. I would like to know earlier than like less than a week before what they're going to be making, so I can gauge if it's something I want to do.
Yeah.
Speaking of not knowing things a week before, did you guys end up figuring out if you can get the area you want, the table you want?
We're still working on that. So that's
Wow.
still working on that. It's
Thought I'd ask. Sorry.
from an inside source, it's kind of because the Friday is the main setup, and then the public goes in for the Saturday and Sunday. So essentially, a lot of us find out on the Friday, but we have a plan. We have a contingency plan, and we have like a part C plan. So whichever location that we're given for the weekend, we have a plan to work with it. So we're good.
I was going to say I've made pretty much every location I've been in work one way or another. So to me, it's not necessarily a big deal where I end up.
Hmm.
I say this like I'm going to be there. I don't know if I ever said it properly on the show. My dear brother, whom I adore, is getting married on the Saturday of TFCon. So that kind of that kind of like shot a hole in me being able to go. I bear zero resentment to him for that, but because he's getting married, it's important. But I'm just like, man, I'll live.
Mhm.
So I'll be there on the Friday to set my stuff up. I have a trusted friend, shout out to Andrew, to sell my stuff. I've worked with him as long as I've been selling at TFCon. And then ideally I'll make it there Saturday. Well, I got to go Saturday. I mean, ideally I'll make it there Sunday because I got to pick my stuff up. Hopefully early enough to actually enjoy the day, but we'll see how I feel after my brother's wedding.
Right. Yeah, so shout out to Andrew. Shout out to Neil. He's also a subscriber on our channel. I met him at the TFCon last year. Raymond also shout out to, and I believe Smokey Bear is what he calls himself in the group
Yeah.
chat.
I'm going to be honest, I forget what his real name is. I just call him Smokey also.
Same here. So all of them are friends. I know Neil is actually selling his G1 collection, and they're actually, from the days of G1. So I don't believe there's like any reissues or anything. So it's a lot of. I see someone slowly getting into the camera. So tell you more. I can find out what he's selling and and post it in our chat. But yeah, all of the sellers are really cool, and we all look out for each other. So someone needs to step away from the table, someone takes over, sells an item for each other. So there's all different variations of Transformers, but I know with Neil, he mentioned he's selling his G1s. So I will keep a note on that. And which reminds me, I have to remind Mr. Magnus about something just after the stream in terms of something you had to take care of.
Yeah. Oh, one thing that did happen is they announced another exclusive, and this is the one that I'll probably pick up unless they announce anything crazier in the next few days. What's the best way to share a link here? I'll put it in the private chat. They just put it up on Twitter.
Cool. And while you're doing that, actually, Mario has 2 questions, but the first one directed to you, Fear, is this question doesn't pertain to TFCon since you weren't here a few streams ago, but have you heard about the Skybound comics of the Energon universe is somewhat getting an animated series?
That is a rumor, but it is a strong rumor, and it is a rumor that I hope is true, because you got to remember, this is all connected to Robert Kirkman. He got Invincible made, so if anybody can make this happen, it's him. And I would adore that happening. Because those are some good stories, and if they can animate them the same way they just adapted Invincible into an animated series, then I think that would just be excellent for both Transformers people and just people that like good stories, because it's a good story. And I see what he's saying there in this other comment. So Daniel Warren Johnson, as I said a very long time ago, he's ending his run after 24 issues because he said, I don't want to burn myself out. I poured everything into this. It shows. And we now know what's happening afterwards. Robert Kirkman himself has taken over after that. So the man that wrote Invincible, the man that wrote Walking Dead, the man that wrote a lot of good things is going to be writing Transformers, and he's going to be picking up from where Daniel Warren Johnson leaves off. So that's exciting. He already writes Void Rivals, so he's already in the mix in terms of adding to the universe.
A Transformers in the style of Invincible would be fantastic, because I highly enjoy Invincible.
Well, yeah, that's basically what it is. Yeah, so you can see there, right there. So they've already announced one exclusive, and it is a Fans Hobby toy that is based on the G1 Predator Snare. And now this is an MLDX action figure of Rodimus Prime from Lost Light, the comic that I love. And that's going to be that's the second TFCon exclusive. So I think this is the one I'm going to try and grab, because you know me, I love Rodimus Prime. I love Lost Light, the James Roberts comic. This is just putting multiple things I love together. Yeah. The downside is this doesn't transform. It's one of MLDX's non-transforming action figures. But I've always heard they're pretty good. And honestly, if I was going to check one out, it being a TFCon exclusive and also it being of Rodimus Prime sounds like the way to do it.
It's quite an impressive figure, and unfortunately, not transforming. But the style of it looks like it would have transformed.
Yeah, I guess I can share. Did you guys talk about the other exclusive that got announced? Because I can share that if you haven't.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, this is from a few days ago. I just dropped it in the private chat.
All right.
Yeah, so yeah, the second one is, there's a theme, because the two that I picked up the last couple of years have been these. This is by Fans Hobby. This is called Hangman, and like I said, it's based on the European G1 character Snare. It's a retool of I believe their Dreadwing that they did. Anyway, I was like, I already have two of these guys from the previous 2 years at TFCon. If I was going to get my one exclusive that I always get, I'd rather it be something different. And then they were like, how about a Rodimus Prime? And I'm like, yes, please. But also, like I said, the previous two Fans Hobby guys were really good. I reviewed them over on Children of Primus. So if anybody wants to pick up this one, I'm sure he's great too, just based on the pedigree of the last two ones that they did. And, you know, there'll probably be, like, at least one more exclusive announced between now and the show. They always leave these things to the absolute last minute.
Cool. And while we're still talking about TFCon, before we jump into TelaTraan 2, where we have big angry Trev from Australia, I'm going to mention some of the guests that they have at TFCon Toronto this year.
Mhm.
So we have a special guest. And how do you pronounce
I
this?
have no idea. Zed Infante?
Zed
That's a
Infante.
guess.
All
That's a
right.
guess.
The voice of Nightshade in Transformers Earthspark is going to be one of the guests.
Yeah. Miko's voice actor.
Mm-hmm. Tanya Gandea? Gennady. Yeah, so the voice of Miko.
Mhm.
And we have Neil Ross, who voices of Bone Crusher, Crosshairs, Point Blank, Six Shot, so almost like all of season 3.
Yeah. There's like, who did Neil Ross, who did 200 people.
And there's also going to be Michael Dobson. And
James Reyes. Yeah. Oh, there's one I wanted to point out here because I don't know if it's the same panel as before, but it'll be really interesting if so. But we'll get to him. Evan Michael Lee, who did Jazz in Transformers 1.
And you said that hot rod does not, or that hot rodimus does not transform.
No, those are that's a whole line of non-transforming action figures.
Man, Fear was so hyped for that. I wasn't going to say nothing, and Bill comes along. It's like, yeah.
Not my bag. He can love it all he wants.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to knock him for loving it. It's just not for me.
that's it.
There's a lot of people out there that don't like Transformers. Hey, go go take a sharpened stick and don't poke yourself in the eye with it. Whatever it is that you like.
It's true.
No, my boss called me this weekend. Holiday weekend. I've been waiting for this 3-day weekend for a while. Called me on Friday and said, "Hey, I need you to come in for a little bit on Saturday." And I said, "Okay, I can be there, but I'm going to be a little bit late." And he said, "How late are you going to be?" And I said, "Monday."
Yep, definitely. So, actually, Fleur, you're going to mention something?
Oh yeah, one of the guests is Aaron Archer, a big former toy designer on the Transformers franchise. Now I saw the panel he did a couple of years ago, and it was really interesting. And I don't know if this is going to be a repeat of that, but what he did was he walked us through as like he was the main American Transformers guy. Like he ran everything at that time in like the early 2000s, and he walked through the creation of the whole Transformers Armada franchise from like start to finish. And even if you don't know anything about Transformers Armada, it was a really interesting panel just to look at how a whole Transformers line is created from start to finish. So if he's back, that might be one to check out because I found it really interesting.
Cool. And let's see. And there is Christopher Lee Zamet, which, funny enough, he's actually in our group chat.
Really?
Yes, and it's one of those funny things, and it's almost like I kind of do the same thing because he was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna be a guest there, and I just happened to work on one of the live action Michael Bay movies. I'm like, you just happened to work on it, like it's just a casual conversation. I'm like, that's cool.
Was he there a couple of years ago also doing a panel? Because somebody who was a visual effects artist on one of the Michael Bay Transformers movies, specifically The Last Night, was a guest. And there can't be that many of that specific thing floating around.
That I'm not sure. But in the chat, I was like, if you have a moment, come by and hang out with us when we're live streaming.
Because there was a panel that was like one of the effects artists from The Last Night at TFCon. I skipped it because it didn't seem like it interested me. And then I heard that it was like really good because he had lots of like ridiculous stories about like both working on the movie and working with Michael Bay and all these things. Cool. So like I regretted skipping out on that. So if this is the same guy, please tell us all those stories again.
And we also have Bumper Robinson, whereas I've seen Bumper in many other shows, so I had no idea he was did voiceovers in Transformers as well.
Yeah, Blitzwing is technically 3 roles, since in Transformers Animated, he has 3 personalities because it was a process of a problem with him becoming a triple changer. So he does the Manny Faces thing and switches his face around, and each face is a different voice and personality.
I actually like that.
Yeah. He like the face they got up there on the poster is like the relaxed one, and then there's like an angry one where he's doing like a Schwarzenegger impression because he's German, because Blitzwing. And then there's like a jack-o'-lantern face where he's just the crazy one. You know. So yeah, 3 personalities, 3 voices.
And we also had comic artist Andrew Griffith.
Yep, done a lot of things. Alex Milne, again, he also done a lot of stuff. He drew more than meets the eye.
And another set of guests that I know is not mentioned on the website.
Well, I'm only there on Sunday, probably.
It's okay. As long as you're there, that's what counts.
I'll be there in spirit, even on the other days. Hey, the wedding's not till 4, and I'm not in the wedding party, so like I can just watch the live stream on my phone or something.
Nice.
It's weird you guys are having you guys' Canadian TFCON next weekend. Next weekend is the summer Tampa Toy Show through the guest we had on here, Jeff. And he brought a bunch of guests on this year, including I don't remember her name off the top of my head, but she was the voice of Jem.
Oh yeah.
I forget her name, but I know who you mean.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, we're
Jem and the holograms.
Jem and the holograms. We've 1 minute left as we're going to jump over into our TelaTraan 2 segment, where we will have Big Angry Trev, who will be our guest once again. So check us out at TFCON next weekend. So it's.
I feel ludicrously unprepared. I'll tell you what.
I'm exactly, because you know what it is. You put a move in the middle of a work schedule, in the middle of like an upcoming convention, and it's all sorts of chaos happening in the background.
Yeah, like okay, you see that. You can't even see it from here. Never mind. I was going to show the box of stuff I filled, but the angle's not even correct. You can see the corner of it poking out behind that blue box. I filled exactly 1 box of tagged, bagged, and boarded people. I still have to price it, and I would really like to bring more than 1 box, so I still got to see if there's anything else from these shelves that I'm willing to part with.
Wow.
Which is a difficult process. Here's my shelves, by the way. They're all next to me now. It's the computer. And then there's this shelf, and then there's this shelf, and then there's that shelf over there. And then...
Wow.
What are angles? And then there's the little shelf next to me with all the video game people and Spider-Man people and whatnot.
All right.
That's my non-Transformers section.
Well, we're going to end this stream as we jump over to TelaTraan 2. So, we said, everyone, like and subscribe, and until all are one.
Until all are one.
We now return you to the Children of Primus.